Hi there, I'm Connie Fuchsa with Foote Title Group, where we know how overwhelming and stressful the home buying process can be, and it is our mission to ensure that the process is simple for you, your closing is easy to understand, and that you and your home are protected after closing. So I know I've been offline for the past just about a week, and mainly that's been because I have been on a trip where I actually was doing a lot of market research. First of all, before I get into what I want to talk to you about, if you happen to be tuning in, please check in and let me know you're on, and let me know, what you're doing, where you're coming from, what kind of information you'd like to know, so we can make sure we talk about things you want to hear about. So while I've been out, you probably saw some pictures. I've been spending some time with my son. I also had some other young people I was meeting with because I was really trying to do some market research about what people want to know about the title company's role in the home buying process, because these are young people that I talk to that are actually going through the experience or starting to think about the experience. And I really was just trying to find out, let me know out of your thoughts where that information is and what that actually means. So as you know, I own a title company, and we have been doing home closings for a little over 30 years. And so we have a lot of information that I try to pass upon to you all the time, to give you resources and information to try to help you understand the process. But what I was really working on this time and doing a little bit of research, and I really laid low off of being online and doing videos, is because I wanted to really dig deep into other people's thoughts about what the title company's role is in the home buying process. What do you think about it? Where does it come from? And I really wanted to get to some younger people that might be looking into buying a home for the first time, and where they actually are coming from and what do they understand. And so here's what I thought I would talk to you about today, so maybe you could understand a little bit better now that I see a different perspective. You get caught up in your own environment, in your own situation, and you think you know all the right answers until you ask somebody who actually hears your voice and wants to know what those things you're talking about mean. So what I did is actually reached out to several young people and met with them one-on-one while I was out of town, purposely doing some market research to try to figure out exactly what they understand the closing process is. And first, let me tell you that I met with young people from almost 30 to just over 20 and got a lot of similar results, but some of them had different understandings about different pieces of the puzzle. So obviously, first let me start out by saying, when you go to start looking at homes, you want to make sure that you understand what you qualify for. So that's where the mortgage lender comes in. And that should be somebody you trust that will find out about all the personal information there is to know about you, financially and personally, and they'll help you make a decision and be able to find the home that you can afford best. And once you do that, then you can work with a realtor, who the realtor is the one who's going to actually show you some homes. But most of them are going to tell you right now that you need to be pre-qualified before you start looking at homes. So when you find the home that you really want to make an offer on, well, first of all, you know what you can afford. And second of all, when you find a home you want to make an offer on, you have some legs behind it. You can say, look, this is what I qualify for and I can buy this home. So that's going to be really important. So you want to find a good realtor, and all of those can be referrals from different people that you know, but also can be referrals from those individuals that can refer others. So the home closing process is a part that usually your realtor or your lender may refer you to someone, but I want you to understand first that you have the right to choose who does that closing, and I'm going to explain to you in a second why that's so important. So when I was doing some market research and I was asking some young people, what do you understand about the home closing process? Really, I got a wide variety of different thoughts on what they thought it might mean, but most importantly, I have no idea. What exactly is it that the closing process is, and what is a title company, and why does it matter that I even care that I choose, and why do I need to understand what that is? So we got to talking, and so what I wanted to point out to you on a very simple level, 1, 2, 3, these are the things that the home closing company or title company or settlement company, however you want to call it, what they do for you. So the first thing that they actually do is they coordinate everybody. So what we do is once you write your contract and you've picked your mortgage and you started working on your loan process, we actually grab all those pieces for you and say, all right, we're going to coordinate you, the seller, the loan, once you write your contract, all the certifications, everything that needs to be done, bring it all together at one time so everybody can sign all of the paperwork. So we make sure all the paperwork is correct, and that way at that time, at that closing, all of it has been coordinated for you. So when you're done signing all the paperwork, you get the keys and you get to move into your new home. So number one, what we do is coordinate everybody and everything. Get all of those pieces pulled together so that that process can happen smoothly when it's supposed to. Number two, we actually search the title of the property and research and fix any problems or concerns that may arise from that title search. So the title search, we actually search the records and find out who is the owner of the property, who's owned it in the past. Is there anything that was not resolved through those past owners that could affect your ownership? Your ownership is very serious, and we are ensuring that no one can come out and interfere with that ownership whatsoever with you. So we need to search those records, no matter if the person that you're buying it from owned it for 5 minutes or 100 years. We're going to search back 60 years to make sure that we feel confident that all of the owners have properly been signed out of, and also that anything that they owed against the property, whether it was a mortgage or if they had some other ownership interest, any of those types of things, that you are properly protected as the new owner of that property, and that you're insured so that no one can ever come and interfere with your ownership while you own it. So we do the title search and we insure your ownership. That's a huge piece and a really important reason why you should choose the title company for yourself, because a home closing company, their reputation and their ability to make sure that those things don't happen is crucial. Because you can go through all of the great things about finding the right mortgage that's absolutely perfect for you, that you can afford, that doesn't make it difficult for you to make those payments, and that you can borrow as much as you can to buy that perfect home. Then you might find that perfect home, absolutely thrilled about that home, move in, start painting, decorating, doing all you want to do, and somewhere down the road, somebody comes and knocks on the door and says, hey, I have an ownership interest in that property, and it's my property, you're going to have to get out. Well, it may not be quite that extreme, but that's what a good home closing company does. When they insure the title to that property, they're guaranteeing by giving you a homeowner's insurance an owner's title insurance policy that no one can come and interfere with your ownership. And not all title companies are created equal. Just like insurance companies, what you don't know can be what hurts you. So title company that's been in business for a long time, has a great reputation, does not have a lot of claims, and how they actually handle resolving issues that they find in the title. Those are crucial pieces and the main reason why you should choose your own title company and not necessarily just rely on someone else referring someone to you. And third and foremost, on top of everything else, if all those things aren't important enough, we actually handle the escrow. And escrow is a fancy word for a protected account where money is properly funded to certain places that it actually belongs. And it is an account unlike any other banking accounts that we own, where we take in all of the money from closing, from your lender, from you, from the seller if there was required to be anybody who owed any money to get us to that closing. All of that money is made out to the closing company or the title company, and they take all of that money in, they settle it all up, and then they pay all the bills, pay the seller what they're due, pay off the seller's mortgage, pay any fees that the your new mortgage company required to do the loan, pay the settlement fees, pay the recording costs to the county, pay the property taxes, the homeowners association dues, pay all of those fees, and they're responsible for making sure all of that stuff is properly accounted for and properly paid for. So in some states, the escrow company is actually a different company. In the vicinity where we do closings right now in Maryland and Virginia, we do all of that. So we handle coordinating the closing, we handle all of the title research and repair and insurance, and we handle all of the money, both taking it in, sending it out. So those three things are what a title company does. that is so very crucial, and the reason why you should choose who does your title. It was kind of funny. I tell you all of these things because I was having discussions with these young people, and the questions and the thoughts on what a closing company does went from soup to nuts. You would just be shocked at all the things that we talked about. But the most stunning thing was when I was talking to my son, who is 23 and starting to think about buying a home. We were talking about the fact that I was a little concerned that I felt like the young people don't really understand what we do and why it's so important to choose. And he very frankly said to me, "Mom, I know you have something to do with the closing process, but I had no idea. I've lived with you for all of these years, and I really didn't understand exactly what role you play in that process." And I think the best way to talk to people is say, exactly, this is what I do. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of information about what a title company does and why it matters, because it is very important for you to pick that company instead of relying just only on someone else's referral, but do a little research on your own. Ask some questions. It's not just about what somebody charges. Remember, as you've heard in the past, sometimes you get what you pay for, and you also want to make sure that the closing company, hey Jeff, how are you? Thanks so much for tuning in. You want to make sure that that closing company has a reputation, doesn't have claims on their insurance policies, because that means they're not doing the proper research and they're not fixing problems that may show up on the title. I've heard before about closing companies that even though they give you an insurance policy, they haven't necessarily done the proper steps to resolve anything that could be an issue for you before you get that policy. So even though you have an insurance policy, you still may have an issue that you've got to work to resolve. And who the heck wants to do that? That's like buying a house, getting homeowner's insurance, and knowing that the breaker panel is probably going to explode on you at any time. Well, you have insurance, so it'll cover you, but who wants to deal with that? So you want to deal with a company that you know that's reputable, that has longevity, that has a very limited amount of claims over a long period of time, because that'll tell you what their track record's about. Talk to previous clients of theirs and find out what their service record is, how they took care of things. And then also, you know, a lot of the title companies that went out of business over the past 10 years are because they didn't manage their money properly, and those escrow accounts that they're not allowed to touch except for to take in money and pay out money in that particular file, they were actually touching that money and doing other things with it. So those are all really important things and reasons that it really matters that you check out that title company or that home closing company and make sure that you choose someone that is working for you and that has a reputation to do things the right way, because you don't want somebody to come back later and try to claim an interest in the home that you've purchased, that you fell in love with, that you've started to paint and decorate as your own. So hopefully it gave you a little information today about a title company or a closing company and what our role is in the process and why it's so important for you to choose. I really appreciate you tuning in, and please, as I always say, if you have any questions or anything you don't understand, reach out to me, message me. I love talking about things that I don't necessarily know that you don't understand. It helps me know what to do better. Thank you so much, Jeff. That's so awesome of you. We've worked with Jeff for a really long time, and he is just an amazing realtor. For his agents are so, his clients are so thrilled when they come to the table after working with him. And so that's a huge compliment, and I really appreciate that, Jeff. That means a lot. So if any of the rest of you have any questions, want to know answers to anything, maybe have some pointers or something you want me to talk about, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Connie Fuchsa with Foote Title Group, where the home closing process is the simple part. Get yourself in the know, stay in touch with Foote Title Group, and stay in touch with our live presentations and posts to keep you in the know about your home closing. Have a great rest of the day, and thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon.